Hi everyone. Now that we've had a week to begin to learn and get used to the IPHS 403 course format, we are now entering Module 1, Public Health and the Health System. Focusing on historical phenomena that have shaped the development of public health responses, allowing us to formulate a working definition and logic model for public health in the 21st century. Also in this module, we will be considering the network of health agencies at the federal, state, and local level, and their partnering organizations in the voluntary and private sectors to analyze the authorities, functions, and roles of health organizations at the different governmental levels, assuming that the government will reopen from the shutdown, and in different sectors in ensuring population health. This week, Week A of Module 1, we'll be focusing on our 3 case studies. We're asking you to review these studies so that we can discuss module themes as a class in our Week A conferencing exercise. You'll find 4 question prompts on the Module 1 discussion board. 3 prompt you to think about our case studies, and the 4th prompt is regarding additional resources from Weeks A and Week B. These 3 case studies put public health ethics to test. Many of the issues in public health ethics concern the tension between improving population health and respecting individual rights and liberties. When are restrictions on individual liberties acceptable? And when are they heavy-handed? Public health also focuses on ensuring that the benefits of interventions are distributed fairly and justly within the population. Looking at the HPV vaccination legislation, as we've legislated many other vaccines, we're put in the position to make a public health ethical decision to protect individual civil liberties or public health. To what extent have immunizations contributed to the reduction in mortality and morbidity due to the infectious disease over history? Yet why might some parents object to having their children vaccinated against HPV? This is the balancing act at the core of public health ethics. Building on the assumption that society seeks an optimal balance between respecting individual autonomy and protecting public health, what are the most credible arguments in favor of an HPV mandate? Against it? Last year, Rhode Island mandated HPV. We can look into that further. Now consider the Disneyland measles outbreak of 2015 and ask yourself the same questions. Does your response change? Now let's consider the different types of law, particularly administrative law, and the impact on public health, where the main purpose is to protect and promote health, ensuring the protection of the rights of individuals in the processes used to protect and promote health. In the Ragsdale U.S. Supreme Court case study, unethical and substandard practices of outpatient abortion providers prompted an investigation. Due to the investigation, abortion clinics that did not provide other outpatient surgical services were explicitly brought under the jurisdiction of an existing state law that licensed ambulatory surgical treatment centers. Dr. Ragsdale and the ACLU challenged the state laws requiring certificate of need approval and licensing of abortion clinics in a lawsuit that charged that this scheme imposed an unnecessary and unconstitutional barrier to a woman's right to access for first and second trimester abortion services and violated the right to privacy provisions guaranteed in the 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. On the flip side, the state argued that the licensing regulations were necessary to protect the health and safety of women obtaining abortions at these facilities. So the main issue centered around the question if the state of Illinois could constitutionally license and regulate outpatient surgical facilities in which abortions were performed in the same manner that the state regulated other outpatient surgical procedures performed at these facilities. Ragsdale and ACLU charged that the laws imposed an unnecessary and unconstitutional barrier to a woman's right to access first and second trimester abortion services and violated the 14th Amendment. The state argued that the licensing regulations were necessary to protect the health and safety of women obtaining abortions at these facilities. Please review the following slides on your own for further insight into official documentation of the case. Now moving into our third case study and a contaminated milk case study, we recognize that foodborne illness outbreaks occur frequently. Some of them are large, but many of them are small. When was the last time you heard about a foodborne illness outbreak and a subsequent recall? I don't know, maybe this week? And contaminated romaine lettuce? What's the largest foodborne illness outbreak that you've been involved in? What's the largest one that you've read or heard about? Had you considered all of the parameters as discussed in this case study? Please browse through the next few slides and review some of these newspaper clippings. And notice the extent of the impact. How does this case study support the contention that public health is often invisible until it fails? I hope that these perspectives have provided you with further insight to explore and then include your thoughts in response to the question prompts in the Module 1 conferencing exercise. Thank you.